Hi everyone, and thank you for being here. Let's start with a quick warm-up to get to know each other a little better. So please feel free to raise your hand if you agree with any of the following questions. Who thinks that exercising regularly is good for your health? How many of you enjoy exercising? Who believes that everyone should have access to sports? How many of you have done inclusive sports? And what are the reasons you have never done inclusive sports? Thank you. Your answers already highlight an important idea. Sport is a part of life, or at least it should be. When we engage in sports, we train strength, endurance, speed, and coordination. Regular physical activity improves our physical health and significantly lowers the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and obesity. According to the World Health Organization, physical activity significantly reduced the risk of cardiovascular disease by up to 30%. Exercise has also a positive impact on our mental health. When we move, our bodies release endorphins, which improve our mood and reduce stress. Research shows that physical activity significantly reduces symptoms of depression. When we exercise in a group or as part of a team, we build a sense of belonging and community. Research shows that participating in sports leads to stronger social connectedness and greater overall well-being. So in the end, sport is not just about movement. It opens the door to a healthier, happier, and more connected community. But here's the challenge. Not everyone has equal access to these benefits. In Germany, about 7.9 million people live with severe disabilities. That's nearly 1 in 10. While regular exercise brings physical, mental, and social benefits, many people are still left behind. More than half of people with disabilities report they never engage in sports, compared just 1/3 of people without disabilities. That's not just a statistic, it's a sign that something isn't working. So the question is, what are the obstacles to engaging in sports? People with disabilities often face a wide range of barriers when it comes to participating in sports. One major category is structural barriers, such as inaccessible facilities, missing adapted equipment, and a lack of reliable transportation. According to the World Health Organization, these physical obstacles significantly reduce opportunities for participating. Another key challenge is attitudinal barriers. These include stereotypes, overprotection, or low expectations of people with disabilities. Studies show that negative attitudes often discourage people from even trying to get involved in sports. There are also informational barriers. Many people simply don't know inclusive sports opportunities in their area. This lack of information can prevent them from finding suitable programs. Lastly, we must consider organizational barriers. Inclusive sports need trained coaches, adapted programs, and appropriate support systems. Only about 7% of German sports clubs offers sports for people with disabilities. To better understand what inclusion in sports means, it helps to break the concept down into smaller steps. Exclusion. People with disabilities are completely left out. They are excluded from sports activities and not even allowed to join a team. Separation. People with disabilities are grouped separately. They do sports with others who have disabilities. Integration. People with disabilities are grouped in the same setting, but no adaptations are made. And inclusion, the environment is adapted so that everyone can participate equally. That was quite a lot of theory, right? So now I would like to do a short movement exercise with you. I've prepared 6 exercises and I would like to ask you just to follow my instructions. Let's begin. Please raise your arm above your head and stretch as far as you can toward the ceiling. Perfect, thank you. You can lower your arms. Now circle your shoulders to the back. Nice, you're just doing perfect. So let's make this a bit more challenging. Are you ready to follow again my instructions? Okay. Thank you for participating. Were you able to follow all of my instructions? The microphone is working, it's just perfect. Starting with the third exercise, we simulated what it's like to have a hearing impairment. So you probably noticed that when you can't hear, verbal instructions no longer work. So to better understand the process of inclusion in sports, let me tell you the story of Kim. Kim has a visual impairment and loves football, always has. One day, full of hope, Kim wants to join a football club. Ta-da! But they say, sorry, you can't join the team. Kim is excluded. Not because of a lack of talent or motivation, because the system doesn't see Kim as part of it. But Kim doesn't give up and tries another club who offers blind football. Finally, Kim plays football on a team where everyone has a visual impairment. In this case, Kim is separated from players without disabilities. Some time passes, the first football club rethinks its approach and they open their training sessions to people with disabilities. Kim thinks, let's check this out, and joins the club. But no adaptations are made. The field is the same, the rules are the same, no trained coaches. So Kim is integrated but not truly supported. Some time passes again, and This time, something changes. The club starts listening. They invest in auditable balls. The field and the rules are adapted, and coaches learn to train inclusively. Now, Kim is playing football with everyone. And if Kil is still alive, they are probably still out there playing football. That's inclusion. Who wants to catch the ball? Perfect. So what did it take to make inclusion possible for Kim? It started with open-minded leadership at the club. People willing to question old habits and make room for change. The environment had to adjust. The field, the rules, the equipment needed to be adapted so that Kim could play safely and have the same opportunity as everyone else. Kim also needed coaches trained inclusively, people who understand how to support athletes with different disabilities. And lastly, it took collaboration and trust. People willing to work together and see and believe in Kim's potential. There are two different ways to look at people with disabilities. Through a deficit-oriented lens or a strength-based lens. A deficit-oriented perspective focuses on what someone cannot do. It highlights limitations and often reduces a person to their diagnosis. In this view, disability is seen as a problem, something that prevents participating. So someone might say, Kim can't play football because Kim has a visual impairment. And this impairment is seen as a barrier, and the conversation often ends there. But there's another way, a strength-based perspective. This approach focuses on what someone can do. It looks at ability, potential, and what's possible with the right support. Here, disability is seen as just one part of a person's identity, not the defining one. Now, the question becomes, how can we adapt the game so that Kim can play? Maybe Kim has great field awareness or strong passing skills. Instead of excluding Kim, we try to find ways to include Kim. So, do you see limitations or do you see potentials? So you might ask yourself, why should inclusion matter to me? Well, inclusion is not just an opportunity for people with disabilities, it benefits everyone. Students in inclusive sports settings show greater empathy, cooperation, and respect. Research shows that inclusive sports foster more positive attitudes and enhance social skills. Inclusive sports also help people without disabilities become more flexible in their thinking. So research shows that training regularly with players of different abilities improves problem-solving strategies and strengthens communication skills. Diverse teams, including people with different abilities, often outperform homogeneous teams, especially in high-pressure situations and that require problem-solving and innovation. So research shows that diversity leads to better decision-making and greater resilience in complex environments. Seeing people overcome barriers inspires all of us to push our own limits. Research indicates that observing these moments in sports increases self-efficacy and motivation, encouraging people to become more active and pursue new goals. So what can you do? Even if you're not a coach or running a sports club, you can be still the change. It starts with 3 steps. Be open. Welcome everyone, regardless of gender, background, sexual orientation, ability, or other characters. Inclusion begins with attitude. If you're a member of a sports club, just making it more inclusive. Look for opportunities to connect with inclusive sport programs or try out yourself inclusive sports. And if you need more inspiration, just ask me. Be reflective. Challenge outdated norms and ask critical questions. Consider the perspective you hold toward people with disabilities. Is it deficit-oriented or strength-based? Start by asking how you view yourself. Do you focus on your limitations or do you focus on your potentials? Lastly, be creative. Inclusion doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to be practical. Look for solutions, adapt your environment, and try to think outside the box. Some might say, making sports inclusive is too complicated. But often it just needs creativity, patience, and maybe a ramp to access the changing room. So, what stops you now from participating in inclusive sports? Let's break barriers and create opportunities together. Thank you.